After living in an RV for over 2 years, I realized that some things were making life a lot harder than they needed to be. So I made these upgrades, and honestly, they changed everything, especially number 2 and 10. Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Sierra, and I live in this RV with my son and our 2 kittens. And today I am sharing with you the top 10 upgrades that I made to this RV that have made life so much easier. I feel like we've all heard about tire pressure monitoring systems, Starlink, keyless door locks, which I feel like are all great and very important. But today I just want to share some things that haven't really been talked about that much, and they're all relatively easy to do without that many tools. So coming into the kitchen, one thing I really struggled with early on was the lack of counter space. As you can see, I don't have that much, really just this one piece here that originally came with the RV. I know that I could use the sink cover that came with the RV, as well as this little thing that covers the stove for more counter space, but I feel like that's just not really realistic. Whenever you're cooking, you often need access to water and the stove at the same time, so it just never really worked out for me. This definitely was not going to fly because I love to cook. I'm cooking all the time, as well as we just needed more space for washing dishes. So I decided to install these extra flip up countertops, and they flip up really easily like that. And this one is a bit larger. They were really easy to do, actually. All you're going to need is some cabinet grade plywood from your local wood store like Home Depot or Lowe's, and they can actually cut it for you, so you don't need a circular saw. Another thing you'll need are these heavy duty retractable folding brackets, and that's pretty much it. I feel like these worked out really well. They fold back down really easily. Just click the little notches in there. They've also prevented me from having to buy an entire new kitchen counter, so that was nice. I use them all the time for extra space when washing dishes, just having a place to put things on too. They do need to be touched up again with some polyurethane, but given that it's been over 2 years of use, they look pretty good. Overall, I would say I am very happy that I decided to take the extra time and make this upgrade. Another really simple upgrade are the furnace floor vents that come with the RV. They are usually really cheap plastic kind. Mine ended up getting broken, and they're kind of annoying because you had to screw them and screw them out every time you needed to clean underneath there, which is frequently. So I really love these metal ones that I got from Amazon because they have a little feature to flip the bottom compartment, so it really does a good job of keeping in all of the dust and everything that falls in there, and then you can just empty it out over the trash. And the fact that it's metal means that you can get those little covers for them, which I plan on getting, especially in the warmer months when I'm not going to be using the furnace. I'll just put those little magnetic metal cover things over and not have to worry about it anymore. So definitely get these. They're not that expensive. I think they come with like 2 or 4 in a pack, which should be enough for your whole RV, and they're so worth it. Coming into the bedroom, there used to be a really big extension of the bed that came out like right here, and you could barely walk into this room at all. And making the bed was difficult. There was underbed storage, which of course is great, but it honestly wasn't even that much. I figured we can just create storage somewhere else, and we already had plenty of storage in here anyway. I ended up taking it out. A lot of people will deter you from doing that because there's already such little storage in an RV, but for us, it was very worth it. Just to be able to walk around and to actually walk in this room and get dressed and clean and all of that, it feels a lot bigger. Adding on to that, since I lost some storage down there with taking the underbed storage out, I decided to create storage vertically, which I feel like RVs need to start doing this more. It's just a better utilization of space. It allows you to have more walking room in your RV in an already tiny place that doesn't have a lot of walking room. So I decided to build these DIY bookshelves, which I didn't even follow any tutorials or anything like that. I just kind of put them together. I'm sure it's not the proper way to build a bookshelf, but I really just got the thinnest wood I could find, and I used I think these are like 1x3s or 1x4s, kind of as the backbone. Screwed them into that, and yeah, it works. It's been holding up really well. I think they came out really great. I love how they look. I think they really elevate the room, honestly. And it's super functional because it allows my son to store all of his toys and display his favorite current toys. And he, honestly, it's his favorite part of the room. He loves to switch out his toys in here. And it also gives us some room just to put other things in too and hold our books and different things like that. As far as when we travel, I use these little eye hooks with some wire to keep the bins in, and they actually did really well. To go along with that last one, this slide out closet only had this rail here to hang up clothes, which isn't really practical when you have like socks and stuff and clothes that don't need to be hung up really. Sorry, it's kind of a mess. We're still renovating and I didn't have time to clean. But yeah, so what I did was added this little cubicle thing that I've literally had all my life. Initially, I was going to custom make something like this and create drawers, which of course would be ideal, but that's a lot of work. And so I just used this and I put some baskets in and I used the little keyholes and then tie the ropes around them to prevent them from falling out. And they did really well in traveling this past summer, which I'm pretty surprised about. It is, once again, vertical storage, so therefore you have way more room in the center where it matters. And then you're using like all of your space too, and you don't have any empty space. Moving on to my workspace upgrade, and in a minute I'm going to show you the biggest upgrade I made that completely changed RV life for us. So originally here there were two giant recliner chairs, and they literally came out to probably like right here. So when you walked in, there was not that much room to get through. And it was just like it already had a recliner couch, and then plus the two chairs. I'm like, it was just way too much for two people living in here. Even with guests, I felt like we didn't need that many recliner chairs. And I work remotely from home, so I definitely needed a workspace. So here is my little upgraded makeshift workspace. It's really simple. I just used some of these boards that were in my mom's old house. They were in a bookshelf, and they happened to be like the perfect size for this part. I used these little like L-hook shelf holders, which looking back, I think I would change to the previous foldable collapsible ones I mentioned, just because they're like more sturdy. But I really like this area. It has enough room for my computer. Another awesome thing about it is that I can put some storage underneath and kind of hide away things that I don't want really out. I am really happy with this upgrade. It was super simple, easy to do, and you take out a lot of weight getting rid of those recliner chairs, and it also just gives you some more space to set things down. I feel like RVs don't really consider that, but that's very necessary in your home. Back in the other part of the kitchen, previously right here, this whole entire section was full with the classic RV booth that is pretty much in every single RV layout. They take up so much room, and it's just not necessary. It's not like the greatest use of space. We didn't really need that big of a table, and what was really lacking here was counter space, and that was probably the most important thing for me. So I went ahead and bought this little countertop from Facebook Market for like $60. Most of our pantry items are down here. I keep our cat food down here as well. Most of our dry foods and like some Tupperware and pots and pans. I have my little tea section there, which I use very frequently. This is where I mainly cook and do all the chopping and everything, so it gets its use. On this side, I just had extra room to put even more storage space with just this little plastic drawer container thing that my mom had. And then I also have room for my cat's cat tree. Since we still need a place to eat, I went ahead and got this table, and I really love this table. I got it from Amazon. It was a little bit pricey, but I think it was worth it in my opinion, because I really love that it is collapsible, so you can simply move this way, and it can go down like that, and then that way you have a lot more walking space like normal when you're not using it. But when you do want to use it, just pull it back out and pop it into place. There's also some storage underneath there and on the other side. And then another cool feature is that there's a whole other little leaflet on the other side. It's also where we do my son's homeschooling, so it kind of doubles as a workspace for him. We have like our materials here, and then also in the little side area. So yeah, it works out really well for us. For the next upgrade, it's going to be the couch. The RV originally had a kind of smaller, really bulky, ugly movie theater style couch that reclined. It was super uncomfortable. I knew immediately it had to go. It was super heavy too. So I decided to make my own custom bed here. This was super easy, simple. I will link the video of how I made it if you want to go check that out. If I can do it, guys, you can surely do it. So please don't be intimidated. So it's actually a smaller than a twin size here, and I had at one point had a regular kind of day bed that was an actual twin size, and it extended out here, but I found it to be way too big. It wasn't allowing enough space, walk space here, which is really important for me. I want to feel like I'm not cramped in my space. So making it based around this kind of smaller twin bed was really necessary, but it's also super comfortable because it's an actual mattress. It's like memory foam. I wanted to really make sure it was comfortable and acted as a bed and not just a couch. I also made it like this L shaped, which I really love. I just added a simple hinge here, and we actually keep our cat's litter box there, and it does a really nice job with concealing the smell and just concealing the litter box in general. And then underneath here, it is kind of hard to access with the mattress on, but I have a little lifted thing that has some simple hinges too, and we actually have quite a bit of storage under here. So for the very last update for this video, it's going to be my roof. This one was probably the most expensive update, but it was so worth it. I upgraded it with a turn-on tape first, and then I added Henry's tropical silicone roof coating over it, 2 coats. I think that alone was like over $300. And this was one of the very first things I decided to do because I really wanted to make sure that I took care of the roof to prevent any water leaks or anything like that. And I actually ended up fixing a water leak that I had. So that has probably saved me so much money in repairs. You know, had I not done that, the water would have kept coming in and eventually completely ruining this whole side of this RV. So definitely worth it, worth the money. And I would recommend that to every RV owner, honestly. All right, folks, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys learned something new. And if you have any questions on any of the updates that I talked about or just anything RV life in general, Just let me know and I'll make sure to answer everything below. Make sure to stay tuned for an upcoming video where I talk about 10 most important items that you need for RV living that nobody ever tells you about. Thank you so much for being here and I'll see you next time. Bye!